The honourable member for Innisfail, Sylvan Lake.
This is me. Mr. Speaker, the Honourable Premier recently said she intended to review ENMAX's transfer of unprofitable power contracts back to the balancing pool, claiming it's due to the low price of coal. FYI, ENMAX's move was pursuant to 4.3J, a standard clause within power purchase agreements that says when a change in law could reasonably be expected to render continued performance unprofitable, a buyer may terminate this arrangement and shall not be liable for any termination payment, and these rights were confirmed by the balancing pool. Did this government create a climate plan without analyzing its contractual liabilities with the power companies?
Thank you, honourable member. Honourable Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To be clear, the contracts that were negotiated by the previous government with these power companies allows for them to rely on the contract when the prices are high and they get to charge consumers lots. But when the prices go low and the market would save consumers, they have a great big loophole that they can use to get out of the contract. Now, we didn't negotiate that contract, Mr. Speaker. That just is what the previous government saddled us with. But that being said, it's really very important to understand that we need to move forward on this issue in the interest of all Albertans.
First supplemental.
The reason for the return of the contract had nothing to do with the price of power in the balancing pool. It had to do with a change in law under 4.3J. After an answer like that, I wonder what else this government doesn't know. Given the Honourable Minister of Environment has consistently demonstrated some ignorance of the actual economic of federal coal phase-out, and that this plan allowed Alberta's investors sufficient returns and cost the taxpayer nothing, and provided sufficient warning for retaining and redeployment of workers in communities like Hannah and Forestburg, can the minister explain how her plan has resulted in Sheerness, for example, facing closure in the next 6 months, and somehow that's better than the former 2034 timeline?
Honourable Minister of the Environment.
I'll just, Mr. Speaker, by way of a response, I guess, read out the federal end-of-life dates. Battle River 3, 2019, Sundance 1, 2019, H.R. Milder, 2019, Sundance 2, 2019, Battle River 4, 2025, Sundance 3, 2026, and the Sheerness 2036, and so that is one of the remaining 6, Mr. Speaker, which is why we have said we are going to be accelerating some of those down to 2030, Mr. Speaker, and so that one will have a short amount of time.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Second supplemental.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In November of 2015, the industry voluntarily offered to dial down 20% of our coal fleet without compensation, without job loss, without impacting power prices. Not wanting to miss an opportunity this government flatly refused the offer. And given that this government had an opportunity to immediately reduce greenhouse gas in November at a rate of 0.75 megatons per month, how can the Minister of the Environment stand now in this House and claim she's some kind of savior to our planet?
Honourable Minister of the Environment.
Well, Mr. Speaker, the science is clear, despite what the official opposition may claim. The health effects of coal-fired electricity are also clear, and I know that it is that the official opposition would like to throw shade on the science, throw shade on the health effects, but the evidence is clear. Now, Mr. Speaker, this dial down, dial up business. We didn't find that to be particularly within the public interest, Mr. Speaker, which is why we accepted the recommendation from the Climate Leadership Plan to end coal-fired electricity at 20.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.